Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Musey's Modern Dreadfuls. And have we got a story today? It is the great finale, video number 5, to My Son's Camera Monitor Alerted Me. And I'm not going to finish, the whole thing. So let me just hurry up and get you to the finale. But first, let me take care of the YouTube side of things. So please remember to subscribe and give a thumbs up, leave a comment, tap those bells, put on all notifications, because whenever you get a notification from this channel, it's gonna be part of a series or a story. It's gonna be a creepypasta, sci-fi, I don't know, just anything Kafka-esque, eerie, or, just that general genre, anything in the suspense, mystery, paranormal, creepypasta, whatever. But it's for adrenaline junkies like me and you, hopefully, or people who just like fun, unusual stories. So tap all notifications and away we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's not her, man. I forgot my friend was even there. It's not her. Shoot it. I know what you guys are thinking. How many times has this happened in the movies and you scream at your TV or the silver screen for the main character to just shoot the imposter because it's not their loved one? I guess the movies get it right somehow. I'll never roll my eyes at the character who can't kill an imposter again. Please don't shoot me, it begged. My hands were shaking as I aimed at it. Why couldn't I do it? I knew this wasn't my wife. Listen, man, my friend began calmly. Look at it. Its blood is yellow. It's not your family. Was it yellow? It was. Seeing my family slain was so traumatic, I hadn't even noticed their blood wasn't red. I steadied my aim, and not my wife suddenly stopped begging. She began that guttural, terrifying shriek, and something black or gray started to protrude from her mouth, like a tentacle or something. And I fired. At that range, her head more or less exploded. Whatever these things were, they appeared to be mortal. I was still on my knees, and my friend was out in the hallway, just outside the door. We heard the sound of approaching police sirens. I'd forgotten one of the cops had gotten a shots fired call over the radio before being killed. It seemed like it had been hours, but it had only been about 5 minutes since the police had gone in to begin with. My friend went downstairs to let the police know what to expect. I stood up and slowly made my way into the hallway. I was lightheaded and felt like I was going to be sick. My bedroom is adjacent to my son's, so the doorway is about a foot to the right of my son's doorway. My door was closed. As I exited my son's room, but my door opened. Not me walked into the hallway wearing exactly the same thing I was wearing at the time. I was shocked in place. I couldn't move, but it did. It walked towards me, and its right arm turned black and morphed into what appeared to be another one of those tentacle things. It was wiggling around like a squid or an octopus as an appendage. When he thrust his arm at me, it solidified and impaled me through the abdomen. It stabbed me in the left leg, just above the kneecap. I fell to the ground in pain. Its tentacle arm was wiggling again. "Why did you kill my family?" it asked. When it spoke, its voice changed pitch several times. It was my voice, then much deeper, then normal again. It alternated several times, saying that one sentence over and over. It moved in closer. The rifle was gone, but I still had my .45. I pulled it out and got a shot off in its right knee. It howled. As Not Me fell to its knee, I fired a couple more shots, getting 2 into its abdomen and left side of its ribs. As it breathed heavily for a few seconds, I noticed that I was bleeding out. Before I used the last of my strength to aim proper and shot Not Me in the face. Its blood was also yellow. I lay there bleeding out, thinking this was it for sure. I still had some strength left from adrenaline kicking, so I took my belt off as fast as I could, and I tried to make a tourniquet for my leg. With my stomach wound, it was hard to give it a good yank to tighten it. I then took off my shirt and balled it up and packed my stomach wound and applied as much pressure as I could. Being a nurse probably saved my life. I passed out, but the measures I took must have kept me alive long enough for EMS to arrive. I heard raised voices and the sound of pounding coming up the stairs before I went out. It was probably a cop, but I felt pressure from somebody trying to keep my wound packed before I went out. I was in and out of consciousness as EMS arrived, along with probably every cop in the city. I was wheeled downstairs and put in an ambulance. But while I was being loaded onto the gurney upstairs, I heard cops freaking out, and rightfully so. They'd lost 2 brothers, and there were 3 more bodies. Did he kill his brother? Are they twins? Probably referring to Not Me's dead body. Or his whole family. Put him on armed guard while at the hospital. He'll probably be getting charged, said another voice. As I was getting placed into the ambulance, I saw my friend talking to the group of about 10 cops, all listening very intently to what he was saying. I went out again in the ambulance. I woke up in the ER. My wounds had been treated. The tentacle hadn't been more than a few inches wide, so it was just slightly larger than a large knife. They'd sewn me up, and I found that I was currently receiving a blood transfusion. due to blood loss at my home. My wife had authorized for them to do whatever they had needed while I was unconscious. She was also extremely pissed that I went in the house. We're okay now, but that's a story for another day. I was in the hospital for 3 weeks since I ended up getting an infection and almost went septic. I needed quite a few antibiotics. For the entire 3 weeks, I had cops in my room with questions. After about a week, they released me and no longer had me under armed guards. I told them absolutely everything, not caring if it made sense or if they thought I was crazy. And thank God my friend had come with me, since he was able to corroborate everything in this weird story. Midway through my hospital stay, men with suits came by to pay me a visit. They were government. I knew right away. They said they were FBI, but I don't know if I believe that. They wanted to talk about not my family. The police chief and the coroner were involved and said it was very hush-hush. They made it clear that this was not to get out to the public. So this is where I have to apologize probably for such an anticlimactic ending to this horrible ordeal. I don't know what not me and not my family were. Neither do they. The only thing we know is that they were sentient creatures that looked like us and had yellow blood. I begged the coroner to tell me about their autopsies, but he said he wasn't allowed to say. He must have felt bad for me, since I received a bouquet of flowers a couple days later. The card inside the envelope read, "We don't know what they are. They have the same organs we do, but in different parts of their body, aside from their brain. But that's what's weird. What's red and pink inside of us is green and yellow inside of them. They're humanoid creatures, but whatever they aren't human. The government thinks they may be extraterrestrial. Destroy this letter ASAP." We had our house professionally cleaned for free. It was almost surely a government team, since they contacted us on behalf of the police. We could not find any Google reviews or website for the company online. My wife and I are not going back to our house. We would love to burn it down, but there's no way to do that and avoid suspicion of arson at this point. We'll end up taking a huge loss on the property, since everyone in our neighborhood knows there was an incident involving multiple deaths in the house, but don't know what exactly happened. It'll be hard to sell, but eventually it will. We're going to move on from here. I told everyone at work it was a home invasion, and they bought it. I'll go back to work in a couple weeks, and we'll start looking for a new house. Again, I'm sorry. I know everyone wanted a concrete ending and to know exactly what the F those things were. But we just don't know. Aliens sound good to me. I've been thinking if they were supernatural or actually demons, gunfire wouldn't have been able to kill them. It's hard to say if they really were aliens. And if they were, why did they just sit there and creep in our house for a week? They didn't even try to take over our lives. It's hard to wrap my head around this. If it is aliens, keep your eyes peeled out there. There could be more of them. And with that, we have the fabulous finale to the fabulous short story called My Son's Camera Monitor Alerted Me in the Middle of the Night. And I'm stopping there because it's a long old sentence. And again, subscribe, tap those bells, because next time you get alerted, it's going to be another story, another section of a story. But I really hope you enjoyed this series as much as I enjoyed presenting it. And I can't wait to pick out the next project. And much love to all of you. Stay comfy, stay cool out there. It's crazy hot. And talk to you soon.